Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be talking Love is Blind. So, as promised, we have a special guest on the episode this week, or this episode today. So, I'm going to just jump right into that recording in just a second. But to preface, I do want to say that the last 10 minutes or so is just me of the episode itself. It's just me because Sharon had to go. Zoom got cut off anyway, but she did have to leave. So it's just going to be me kind of finishing up with the episode. You are going to get a little kind of just random moments where Sharon puts her thoughts in on two different situations. We have the predictions with this episode, so you'll get her predictions at the end, and then also the situation with Aaliyah and Uche at the very end. That is also, she's going to put her thoughts into that as well. That will be just kind of placed in there, kind of set in. So you'll still get her, but it is technically just me. But otherwise, with no further ado, let's jump into the episode. Okay, so we are going to be talking Love is Blind, the 4th episode, titled She's Gone. And as mentioned in previous episode, I have my friend here, Sharon, who's going to be talking Love is Blind with us. Hi, Sharon.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm excited to talk about episode 4.
I know. Oh, this is a good episode.
Yeah. The trauma was hot.
This season is so good. And you know, like, we only have 3 official couples. So it's like, what is that going to look like? Because we've never had only 3 at any season. So clearly there's going to be like stuff going on with these other couples that haven't been coupled up.
Oh, yeah. And those 3 couples, I mean, none of them look strong.
We're going to get 2 predictions at the end.
Okay.
And I'm also, obviously Ava's not here, so we have talked predictions, and I will also provide hers as well. So, but before we hop into the episode, why not talk about how we met?
Sentimental.
So we actually met at work. So she was our articling student. For those who don't quite understand what an articling student is, it's basically a student at law. And that's how we met.
Yeah.
You were being absolutely bombarded by my boss, who may or may not be listening to this episode.
We is the best. No, it was a good experience, and I got you out of it. So,
yeah. I mean, we feel happy. Yeah, you are definitely missed.
Oh yeah, I miss it too. And who would have thought in like 1 year we'd be here?
I know,
talking about Love Island online via your successful podcast.
Love Island, Love is Blind.
Oh, sorry, Love is Blind. I have been doing that so many times.
She's been trying to get me into Love Island, and I keep telling her it's not going to happen.
Clearly, my heart is still in Love Island. But my brain, don't worry, guys, my brain is in Love is Blind.
Yes. So, we're just going to jump into the episode now. So, okay, so we see that the previous day, where he was talking to Lydia, so this was Milton. She says that she instantly knew it was him. I'm confused because I didn't ever think she thought that he was the one. Obviously.
Yeah.
She was all about Izzy. So
listen, every single person who steps into a pod lies right out of their mouth. No shame. Like, my sister, you are getting recorded 24 hours.
Right.
As if the producers will not eat you up.
Yeah. Hello. Did we not remember seeing what happened in the cuties incident?
Oh gosh.
Come on. Like,
So anyways, Lydia. Yeah.
I don't quite understand any of this. And even like just to kind of piggyback on that a little bit with like the lies. What the hell is happening with Johnny?
Dude.
That girl's flip-floppy.
Oh, so bad. Like, not only is she forgetting that there's cameras, but she is also forgetting that the boys live together and can talk to one another.
Yes.
And can share your contradictions.
Exactly. She is a lawyer. She's not.
It's so embarrassing.
It's so sad.
I do not claim her, guys.
We don't claim her. We don't claim her in the law industry. What the hell is that? And she reads contracts and stuff. Like, you're supposed to be the smart one.
Yeah.
But this,
she's really manipulative.
Yes. But this just kind of goes to show, sorry, Sharon, for what I'm about to say. Well, lawyers really are not that smart, guys.
Okay, listen. Some, okay, 100%. There is a good amount of people in any profession and life that, aren't the best. Okay.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that what is a lawyer without their assistant? Anyways.
That was a good bar. I like that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're right. She clearly needs her assistant in the pod with her.
Yeah. I mean, I've done some I've seen some
damage
lawyers.
control.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started. So yeah.
No, and also the whole Johnny, Stacy, and what's his name, Izzy situation. You know what it reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of season 1 of Amber, Jessica, and Bernard.
Bernard. Which one was Bernard?
Bernard? I think that's his name. The one, oh no, Bennett?
Oh, they called him Bennett, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, Bernard, who's Bernard?
Oh, you know what, BB. I got some of it close. But parallel. Johnny and Jessica. The Jays.
Yeah.
You will see it. Mark my words.
So I realized actually as we're talking and I'm like going through my notes here, that it actually wasn't, because I'm actually recording 4 before 3, guys, so be patient with me. So it's actually had to do with the conversation that Uche was having with Aaliyah, where he says that Lydia was his ex. That's what that shit was about. So this we're seeing is actually showing what happened there. So it actually wasn't about Milton, although everything we just said about Milton is valid.
Oh, 100%. So that happened in episode 3.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So this what we're seeing is talking about how they realized that they knew each other in the pods.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Because it ended with a cliffhanger.
Right. So the previous day was when they're showing the previous day when they realized, oh shit. So yeah, she instantly knew it was him. She instantly knew it was Uche by his voice. And she says, fuck. He doesn't recognize her voice. But then he does realize, based on something she said, that it was her. So in this moment, like she says, like, this is important. She says that, do you think we should pursue things? Like, do you think we should try again, get to know each other in this atmosphere?
Yeah.
And he says, no, that takes away from what we're doing here. We already know each other. So I don't think we should be pursuing each other in this. So that's what happened. I think this was the first day. And
yeah.
And
day one. Date.
Yeah. And we never knew this up until he told Aaliyah in the last episode. It was never mentioned. So Yeah, so now we're back to the present now,
Yes.
after all of that.
Yeah.
They apparently only dated for a few months. And I think they started dating. I think this kind of like a pandemic type relationship based on the dates that I heard. But he said that he broke up with her because he just felt like they weren't kind of vibing.
Yeah, he just couldn't give her the love that
Right.
she deserved, is what he's saying.
Right.
But the timeline is a little bit iffy. I will admit, I'm very confused about the timeline, and I feel like I need him to re-explain it.
Okay, this is what I gathered on the timeline. They started dating sometime in 2020.
Yeah.
They broke up, say, depending on when in 2020, maybe like late 2020 into early 2021. I think that this has been like this filming is being done in 2022. So I think that also is important for me to know when this is being filmed. So I think this is 2022 because I knew that they were filming in Houston like early in the year. So I think that that's the timeline here with that. So we're kind of going ahead a little bit, but these two people, Uche and Lydia, had sex 3 months previous to them being in the pods.
Yeah.
So there has been some backsliding happening as well.
It's important to note that he didn't tell Aaliyah that.
No, she
found
told
out
Aaliyah that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lydia told Aaliyah that when she confronted Lydia, saying, "I know."
Oh,
okay,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll backtrack a little bit. He tells, so episode starts, he's telling Aaliyah, like, yeah, I need someone. Her name is Lydia. And then we see a flashback to like their meeting, day one meeting. And then Uche saying like, oh yeah, no, this defeats the whole purpose why we're here. Let's not do it. You could tell she's a little bit butthurt, but she's like, yeah, you're right. That's it. Aaliyah has to take a moment to herself because she's like sad. She's crying.
Yeah.
And then she comes back and then she's like, I'm not upset with you. I'm not upset with her. I just need to talk to her and figure things out, which is fine.
Right.
Now, I did some little, Twitter research on Love is Blind before we started. And people are really upset. There's some people who are upset that, Uche is like, oh, honesty is the best policy, blah, blah, blah. And then he like hides this from her. And then, how dare he talk to her about the whole cheating thing. And then just goes around and does this.
And I agree with that. I think the issue is, and I did say this in that episode, was it is okay to have the conversation about the cheating, especially if in his mind it's recent. Although I don't feel like 2 years is recent. I feel like, it depends on the circumstances. But just because she cheated in one situation doesn't mean that she's going to cheat in another situation. Yeah. And I didn't disagree with him having the conversation. I disagreed with his reaction. I disagreed, like when he says, it would have made you honest if you told your ex.
Yeah.
And I think he would have wanted to know, sir, who are you? You don't know her ex. You don't know what he would and wouldn't have. He knows now, but he wouldn't have wanted to. Right. And for you to say to her, it would have made you honest. Maybe I'm going really dark here, but that just makes me feel very like, I don't know, like Warren Jeffs-ish kind of shit. Like that's me going dark. I know that. But that's where I go to, where it's like, keep sweet. That's that's where it took me. And I'm like, who are you to tell me that I need to be honest or I need to stay honest or, keep sweet kind of thing. And it's just like, no. I don't know. I don't know how I understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
But it's not up to him when it doesn't involve him. She didn't know you existed. She's telling you something. We're talking about it. But then don't tell me, like there's a fine line, I feel. And
okay.
I feel he crossed it.
Okay. I don't know if it's just like the lawyer in me, but I completely understand his questioning.
Yeah. And he's a lawyer too, isn't he? No, he's not. Yeah, he's a lawyer. No.
Yeah, he's a lawyer, but he does like tech programming. Like he has his own
right
tech company or something like that.
Once a
But
lawyer, always a lawyer, though.
listen, yeah, once you go to law school, you're a lawyer because that it stays with you forever.
Yeah.
But so I understand his like thought process because I would ask the same questions and he asked very important questions that are going to affect his future with her. Now you're
Mm-hmm.
saying, oh, who is he? He's your partner for the rest of your life. So he should be like, not should, but I think it's really important that you have those uncomfortable conversations. And what better person to have those uncomfortable conversations with is your life partner.
Mm-hmm.
And say if like he can't handle it or she can't handle it, then maybe, you know what, maybe like it's just too intense for one of y'all. Like maybe you're not meant to be. So, but
Yeah.
I did not hate his questioning. I think the only thing I disagreed with him about is him saying 2 years is not long enough for you to be a different person. I'd be like, hold your horses. Like,
Yeah.
some people could have like a whole like turnaround in like 6 months.
Exactly. And that's where I had an issue with as
Yeah.
well. And I don't have, like I said, like I don't have an issue with his questioning. It was the reaction
But there
and
was
kind
not
of
much
the
of a
direction.
reaction
I don't know about that because
because
I
he was
felt,
literally being a critical thinker. Like he was
but
like, yes,
the
it happened in the past, but I just want to see where you are now.
the
And like
problem is that I think I me and again he doesn't see how she's reacting and she can't see how
yeah,
he's reacting, so there is there's a thing there,
yeah.
but I'm watching her and
Mm-hmm,
I'm watching him. Yes, he's calm, cool, and collected while asking
mm-hmm,
these questions, but I see her and I can tell she's visibly upset.
yeah,
She's feeling judged, and again, there's no he was judging her. Even if he says that, no, I wasn't. But that's how it felt for her. That's
yeah.
kind of
I
what
mean,
I was thinking. Like you're judging her a little bit. It's not that you're just asking questions, you're also judging her in the process. And I think she was reaching a limit. And he wasn't realizing that there was a limit that he was about to hit.
mm-hmm,
And again, I think, and I said this then too, is I think he's dealing with his own situation and he is
yeah,
projecting it on her.
yeah,
And that is not the way to deal with things either. You're not
sure.
going to have a healthy relationship
No,
and there's a fine
projecting.
line between projection and asking the right questions.
And
And
look, I could see the disadvantages of the pod, right? Like where we could see them both face to face and we could see like, his expressions and her expression. And obviously expressions are so important in
mm-hmm,
conversations.
mm-hmm,
So yeah, there is a disadvantage where maybe he was, yes, he was, kind of pushing the boundaries,
yeah,
and clearly didn't realize. But it could have been a very effective conversation if she didn't leave as well, because he was, just saying like, okay, yeah, I had asked these questions and I was being like a little bit harsh, but the fact that you're telling me everything like that is also very valuable. But obviously she didn't hear
yeah.
that.
She was
She
leaving
left.
as he was saying it.
Yeah. So
And yeah,
the conversation could have turned around, you know,
yeah,
and, but the thing is though, he was just going, again, the lawyer, he was just going from the terms she was using in the beginning and just turning it around based on it's like, okay, but you're saying this earlier. So I'm just trying to connect your words and your actions because right now I don't see them align because she's like, oh, like honesty is very important to me, in a relationship. But then she goes ahead, does this cheating once and then stays with the man for 3 months and then breaks up
yeah.
with him by telling him like, yeah, you're bad in bed. We can't be together.
And
He's
that's
probably
my
like, oh,
thing.
what the heck?
But
But then
that's the
it's
thing
this,
that I do agree with as well is I understand where his issue like was in that.
yeah,
If
yeah,
if you're not sexually compatible with a person, and to me, I feel like you can teach things. But
mm-hmm,
again, if he is not like responding to that, then that's understandable.
yeah,
But you can teach things.
yeah,
If you have the core emotional values
mm-hmm,
and you cherish that, then the sex is like whatever. You can build upon that.
yeah,
But the fact that you then cheat on him because the sex is bad, you stay with him for an additional 3 months, but the sex is bad, and then you break up with him because the sex is bad. I feel like you could have just not stayed with him for the extra 3 months, not cheated on him, and just said, you know what? We're not sexually compatible. This is not going to work long term. So let's just part ways now. And I think that's the part that Uche's trying to say. Like, this was a dumbass reason to cheat on somebody.
Yeah.
You could have just left him.
He was just trying to understand that.
Yeah.
And then once he did, he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Your honesty is valuable here now.
Yeah.
The only thing I had an issue with is the whole 2-year comment for sure. But like
yes.
I get it. Pods are very, obviously very overwhelming. Emotions are heightened, such and such. But man, that conversation with the girls afterwards, I did not like it. Like,
we'll get to it.
I mean, now it makes sense as to why. Because I was like sitting there and I'm like, what the heck is Lydia? Like, my girl is attacking this man. And this man went to his his room with the boys. And he's just like, yeah, there's this girl. She said something that I didn't, that, caught me the wrong way, but blah, blah, blah. And the boys are like, yeah, don't worry. Values, morals, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. My girl, they're like, F that boy. You deserve better. He's trash man. He's deflecting, reflecting, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whoa, girls.
So then we see Izzy in a suit. So we know what's about to happen. He's going to propose to Stacy. He says that he feels confident and he feels safe with her. Okay. She says that she feels the same. And then, he gets down on a knee and he proposes, and she says it's crazy because she has always been good on her own, but she does say yes. That's good. It's good to be good on your own.
Yes.
It's important.
I think that's valuable.
Yeah. I mean, I love my man, but I like being alone too.
Yeah. You're your own person. You it's very strong for your core.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So she does go back into the women's quarters, and obviously she's excited that she's now an engaged woman, and all we see is Johnny's face. Oh, shit. She is not happy. She's clearly very upset. She says, happy for you. Wish you all the best. Kind of really dismissive. It's kind of for those people who watch.
Monotone.
Yeah. For those people who kind of watch 90 Day. I know, Sharon, you don't really watch 90 Day, but whenever we get Shawn Robinson, who is the host of the Tell-Alls, and she's like, I'm not going to solve this one today. We're going to leave this here and we wish you the best. Kind of like that, where it's like, there's nothing here we could talk about. I hate all of this. We're just going to move on.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same idea. I always go back to that. Anyway, so in her kind of confessional, she says that I haven't even had time to cry about it. Okay, you only get 10 days in pods, girl. You better cry and move on. I don't know what to tell you.
It's rough.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, as we've said, she's manipulative here, so I don't really care that she hasn't cried about it. Anyway, where am I? She says that I'm going to feel it, I'm going to mourn it, and I'm going to move on. Okay. So Johnny says to somebody, I couldn't catch who she said this to, that she feels that she isn't ready for commitment. So why are you here?
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, it was very quick. And I'm like, but then you're on a show where the ultimate conclusion is marriage.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate commitment.
Listen, this part made me realize she did not choose contracts law. Contracts law chose her because she would suck so bad in litigation. Because her excuses, her pointers are so wild.
Right?
Yeah.
And the thing too that I talked briefly about it in the second episode, I think it was, where she's like, I know it being a lawyer, it sounds sexy, but all I do is read contracts all day. And I'm like, as for me, I'm like, what's sexy about being a lawyer?
Oh,
What?
no part of it is. Yeah. No part.
Yeah.
No.
There is nothing sexy about law, guys.
No.
Nothing.
Listen, what's on TV stays in the TV.
Yeah,
Okay. Suits is not real life. I
this
am
is
so
not
sorry.
Suits.
Yeah. I wish.
I love Suits, okay?
Yeah. I just
But
want to go into an office, slam a file, and be like, I found the answer.
right, just be
No.
that easy.
I
There's
wish.
law clerks and lawyers are not falling in love with each other. Absolutely not. And
No.
that's just not. I mean, it actually. I mean, there are some scandals. Not in our,
Yeah.
not in our firm, but there are some
No.
scandals that I've heard of. We're
Mm-mm.
gonna leave it there.
Yeah.
But that's far and few in between. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
happen. Anyway, so then she's talking about Chris and how she has time to think about it, or she's had time to think about it, and that she thinks that wait, sorry, I'm confusing myself. Sometimes I can't read my handwriting, guys. We already know this. So it's with Chris, and he feels like he has had time to kind of think about it and wonders, like, is she genuine?
Mm-hmm.
No, the answer is no, she's not.
Yeah.
So then she has her date with him.
Oh, you're
And
jumping.
am I jumping? Did I miss something?
I think so.
What
Well, like
happened?
you forget that even during that conversation where she's like, oh, like maybe like I'm, afraid to commit or whatever she said.
Yeah.
She also then goes on to tell this other this person that I don't even know who she was talking to,
I don't know
but
who she's talking to.
yeah, sorry to whoever you were. Um, but she was like, oh yeah, but you know what? Like Izzy is, like bad credit score. He like signed a lease. Like she's like bashing this
Oh,
man
that's
now.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. She was kind of bad mouthing him.
Yeah. As if like, she's like, oh, like good riddance. Like
Like
you.
she's trying to justify, it in her mind that this was how it was meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you were all about Izzy. You literally said he was it. And then you broke
Yeah.
it off with Chris, and then he broke it off with you like 10 seconds later.
Yeah.
And you're like, as soon
Mm-hmm.
as she said that Izzy felt like a fifth grade crush, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, so this is not gonna ever happen. That's
Yeah, I
not,
know. That's a weird way to say it.
yeah, you're a 30-year-old woman. You shouldn't be
Yeah.
basing your love on whether or not you have a fifth grade crush.
It
You know what
felt
I
more
mean?
lust than love.
Yeah. Like, and again, like we don't cover love after lockup, love during lockup. It's just too much of a show for us to take on.
Yeah.
But we both, me and Ava, do watch that show. And it's the equivalent of, one of the couples on there right now. What's their name? Louie and whatever fuck her name is. I can't remember. And she's like with the guy, and she had a crush on him in high school when they were 17 years old. She's 39, he's 41.
Mm-hmm.
And she's basing this whole thing on the fact that he was
Mm.
the jock and I had a huge crush on him and I was ignored because I was a nerd. And
Yeah.
now look at me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the same idea. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Mind you, the reasons it won't work with him is even more so than just that. But
Mm-hmm.
nonetheless, that's
Right.
the gist.
Yeah. Yeah. And then and then she's just like, oh yeah, maybe I'll talk to Chris again. And then we see the boys' corridor where Chris is like, she wants to talk to me. What do I do, guys? And they're very encouraging. They're like, you know what? Like, don't ever think of yourself second best. Like, that's not like it's tough here in this environment, but
Yeah.
you shouldn't be thinking about it like that because it's
And I
different
think
here.
that was actually in the third episode. So they've already
No.
had, I have here in my notes that he says that he doesn't see a future with her. Yeah, like that's the fourth episode is when that wraps up.
Yeah.
That's all wrapped up. They've had the conversation. He said,
Oh, they did already.
They had the conversation in the third
my bad.
episode. Yeah, let me think about it. And then the fourth episode is when he says,
Okay.
deuces.
Yes. But that was the end of the episode where he reveals that answer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This fourth episode when he reveals the answer.
Yes. Okay.
So we're there around the date, and she tells him that she feels safe with him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you? And she can see him meeting her family, And she said, I should have trusted it with you. Like, she's saying all of this nonsense.
Yeah.
And he says that he accepts her apology and all of that. He says he gave it a lot of thought. He says that he does see a future with her. He says, I do want to be with you. And I don't want you to think otherwise. He says, I came here to find my wife. And at one point, I thought that I had.
Yeah.
And he says, I need to be selfish and think of myself.
Love it.
And choose someone who always chooses me.
Yes. Yes.
And then he gets up and he leaves. Mic drop. I thought that was perfect.
I know that was so hard for him based on how that meeting, that date went. Where he's like, oh my God, my mind, like, what are you doing to me? And then he does this. And I'm like, Chris, you're going a long way. Like you will be fine.
Yes, yes.
And you will find it.
And I think what also makes it even grosser from her, like kind of leading in with the manipulation of it all for her, is that this man confided in you something very sensitive, which we won't talk about again. It's in the second episode.
Yeah.
So we won't go into the details of what he said there, but he tells you something so sensitive, so, something that I think is very hard for him as a man to say, because we have this toxic society saying, oh, this only happens to women. This doesn't happen to men. How can it ever happen to men? You know what I mean? And I feel like she preyed upon that. She's like, oh, here's a weak guy. So I can easily backpedal back to him if things don't work out well with Izzy. And he'll take me because he's quote unquote weak. Yeah. And that makes it even worse. Honestly, I feel.
Yeah. I find it so cringy when they kind of go back to someone that they quote unquote broke up with in the pod.
Yeah, it never works.
No, and I feel like if you're so confident to break it off with someone, to carry on with a connection that you're not 100% sure is going to go anywhere yet, it's like, it speaks a lot to the other person, and then go back and backpedal. No. Like you should have honestly, I don't know if this is rude to say, but you should have strung both of them along and then see where each went.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see an issue with stringing both along and seeing where things go. We've seen that before. Yeah. We just saw that last season with, what's his face? Oh God. The one that's with Chelsea. What's his name?
Oh, Kwame?
Thank you.
Yes.
Kwame.
Oh, yeah.
We saw that. We saw him doing that with Chelsea and Micah.
Yeah.
Up until the point where, right to the last second, where he's like, Micah was the one who broke up with him, actually.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So we've seen this before. Yeah. I find actually that a lot of people in this season are making quick judgments and being like, okay, no, I see it with you and I don't see it with you anymore. So I'm going to break up with you and go to you. And it
backfires.
And it backfires. Yeah. And I feel like it's going to backfire for Izzy as well. I don't know. I think he dodged a bullet with Johnny, but I think it's going to backpedal. It's going to backfire with him as well.
Izzy is a walking red flag, TBH.
Izzy is, yeah.
The way he just, I don't know what it is.
It's something about him.
Yeah, there's something.
I still stand by how I felt about Kwame last season. That I felt like he was very similar to the guy there from the season prior to that. Who what's his name? The Nigerian guy. Well, they're both Kwame and him are Nigerian. SK, thank you. Yeah, I have felt that same way with that's the vibe I feel, because mind you, SK fooled everybody.
Oh yeah. So hardcore.
But remember, please put it on the record. Did I not say there is something about SK I don't like?
You did. And I was like,
I did.
What? No way.
Yeah.
I was a fool, everyone. Yeah. Izzy. Anyways, Izzy is definitely a type of guy. And I think we'll see it soon, that likes
something's gonna pop up about him.
Yeah. He likes the attention. And he's the type of guy who wouldn't say no to it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so now we are at the conversation between Aaliyah and Lydia.
Huh.
So they're on a couch, and Aaliyah just tells her, I know.
Yeah.
Me, if I was like, well, I mean, I would have played stupid and been like, you know what? What do you know? You know, but she's like, she knew. And actually this kind of brings up into Ava's kind of conspiracy theory here, was that were they told by production to say nothing until the right moment?
Probably.
That's what it feels like. So I wonder if production's like, okay, today's the day, guys. We're gonna tell everybody because they need to know, because drama, you know what I mean? So I do wonder that.
Yeah,
just because
I
of
could see
how
that happen.
Yeah, just how easy she kind of just knew, because the next thing they end up doing is just hugging. Me?
Yeah, and crying.
Yeah,
Or
me?
Lydia crying.
Right. Why is Lydia crying? Me, I would have been like, don't fucking touch me. We're not friends no more. Because like, that I'm into this guy who you dated.
Yeah.
And to make it worse, you fucked 3 months ago.
Oh yeah, when she said that though, okay, listen, my girl is like, when she said I knew, I don't know what happened to Lydia, but like she just something
happened.
Yeah. And
It's
she
like
just
word vomit.
exploded. Yeah.
Word vomit.
I was like, this girl needs to shut up. What is she doing?
Why would
you think anyone wants to hear that?
I'm going to get into another theory in a second once we kind of finish up with the conversation. But there is another theory that, again, Ava's just out with theories, but it is her theory, and I love it. So let's just finish their conversation first, though. But
okay,
Aaliyah says that it's not ideal, and it's complicated. And she asks her, like, how do you feel emotionally? I think Lydia asks Leah, or maybe I don't even know anymore who asked who what, because they're both just kind of, yeah. So so she says that she met him at, where do they meet? At something. I can't read my writing here. Oh, sorry, at a down point in her life. That's when she met him. When Lydia met Uche. And she says that she doesn't really know why it didn't work out. Pardon? So I'm gonna insert something here. You had sex with him 3 months ago, and not once did you think, why didn't it work out with us? You didn't think to ask him the question? You just let it go?
Listen. I feel like we know who Lydia is now.
I think so.
Like we got a lot of information, or just a lot of her behavior we're able to observe. And I feel like she doesn't take criticism well. So I feel like she blocks a lot of things out and changes the narrative. I don't know if it's like vicious. I just think it's just part of her personality, and maybe it's just a coping mechanism, but she blocks and she changes the narrative.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that I said this, that I liked her in the beginning, and that was going to change, but I did like her.
Mm-hmm.
But now it makes me think, like, when she says, oh, guys don't pick me because I'm too loud, I'm too this, and I'm like, maybe that's not why. Maybe that is what you're telling yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But it has nothing to do with that. Yeah. And that, again, kind of lends into the theory again. But
and it's also kind of really weird that, like, she's like, oh, he basically chose another me. Like, me and
that was fucked up.
Like, sometimes I feel like, she needs to think before she speaks.
Right?
And in that situation, like, my girl really said, I don't want to know anything.
And she kept going.
She heard, I want to know everything. That's what she heard. And she's like, all right, here you go.
Here's right? Everything. Oh, you said everything? Oh, okay. It was literally like, and listen, I'm going to say this just from my perspective again. Like, I think I said this in a different episode as well, where I know everything about my boyfriend, everything. And that, like, when we kind of get into that, I know everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it from him. And I knew
Yeah.
at a point in time where we as a couple could handle that. And he knows everything about me too. Like that at a point, and we're talking more about like the sexual aspect of it, because I think that is what made Aaliyah go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was anything else. I think that's what switched it for her.
Yeah.
And I knew those things at a point where I can laugh about it. Like, I won't go into any details, but trust me, there are some things that I still talk about today that I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I can't believe you did that. And that's fucking hilarious. Like, I can
Yeah.
do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I I don't think I would have been able to handle that, even if it was early on in a relationship or if it was coming from his ex.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been able to handle that because I'm like, I want to figure you out on my own.
Also,
I
like, I
don't
don't want
want
to be
someone
able
else to
to,
tell me.
yeah, but also, like, I want to be able to escape. And
Yeah.
Aaliyah couldn't, like, literally, she's stuck with this woman. And, like, I'm jumping here, but she said something along the lines of, like, I'm in a cage, essentially, with this woman. Like, I have to go
Yes.
back, and she's there, and she's around, and she's always there. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
She's like a leech.
Yeah.
And even like, I mean, again, I'm sorry, I go dark, but we already know that I'm a true crime fan, as you are too. So where I go dark, but I
Yeah.
go to a place of it's kind of like the manipulation of like a cult leader. They
Mm-hmm.
always start with like this, I'm always there. I'm always going, you know what I mean? Like this that level. Again, sorry guys, dark. But that's where I go. And I'm just like, girl, she told you stop.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
tell how uncomfortable she is in this moment.
Yeah, it's
And
bad.
where can she go? She's
Yeah.
stuck in these quarters with you.
Yeah, and you've been her go-to girl as well. So it's like, God damn.
Yeah. You guys
It's
have,
weird. It's wild.
and I feel I'm gonna get there. So I don't know if there's much else that we need to talk about this, but it kind of just to go into like the different things that she starts saying about him that she literally says, I don't want to know about.
Yeah.
Included like, I've met his friends. Oh, he has OCD tendencies, which I've had this conversation before. Unless you are diagnosed with OCD, stop throwing it around like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I have an aunt who has OCD, so it's a real illness and it's
Mm-hmm.
debilitating.
Yeah.
And start talking about like his favorite color. And then that's when the conversation comes up about the fact that they had sex 3 months ago. That's when that comes up.
Yeah.
So the theory, we'll go into the theory here. And I'm curious to know what you think about it. Ava actually thinks that they both knew, or sorry, she knew that he was applying for Love is Blind.
Oh.
So then she tried to apply onto Love is Blind, knowing that he was going to be there. And then when she kind of saw that he's kind of with a person that he's getting really along with and probably sees something going here, she latched onto that person and befriended them to try and get her away from him so she could have him back. And Ava says, like, it's kind of like Obsessed, the movie with Beyonce and Idris Elba. It's kind of that level of extreme of, I'm going to do what I need to do to get my man back. And if that means I'm going to go on a TV show and do it, then I'm going to do it. I kind of like it. I kind of like the theory.
Listen, if that's the level of crazy she is, like, that's wild. I want to give her the benefit. And, I hope not, but we'll see. Like, we'll see when they're like face to face.
Yeah, I hope not.
Like,
but
listen, that's so, yeah.
Think of the drama that is,
No,
though,
for sure.
if that is what happened.
I honestly like to piggyback on that theory. Like, it's the Martin and Lydia are a producer plant. Like, I think, like,
Milton? You mean Milton?
Oh, sorry, Milton.
Milton
Yeah.
and Lydia are.
It just
you know what? Maybe.
Yeah.
I do wonder if, like, to kind of piggyback on the previous conspiracy theory of What if production always knew she knew him and that she wanted him back?
That's really hard to, because I could see how they miss that information because like how could they really tell unless they do like a name your past relationships and like they named it and they're like, ah, or she didn't name him. I
Yeah,
don't even know.
because what's also interesting here, what I'll say, like she have to like scrub her social media because I don't know about anybody else, but my ex-husband is still on my social media. Like I've never
Oh, like your
completely taken it.
followers?
No, not my followers. Well, not even just that. Remember he said I'm
Oh yeah.
blocked on
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, not just that. I mean like photos and stuff like that.
No, I think she's
Like,
the type to delete it.
yeah, she probably did, but let's say she didn't, right? You have to scrub your social because the people will find it,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh
Not even
yeah.
just that posts and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you have to scrub that, just scrub that down. But then, like, to kind of talk about one of my other podcasts that I listen to, Reality Gaze, which I've talked about them multiple times because they're my favorite podcast. Um, I think it was for those who listen to them, Poodle. I think it was him who said, how is it not possible that these people don't know each other? How have we not had someone know each other yet on the
Right.
show?
Right.
And that I'm pretty sure he said in the last season. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's interesting and they're pretty big podcasts, people know them in the world and stuff like that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'll
Honestly,
say.
you know what? I like the unhinged characters, and we have a
Yeah.
handful.
We
So
needed this season. We needed
listen,
it.
the resort, the
It's gonna
honeymoon,
be messy.
yeah.
Y'all thought Jackie
Oof,
and it was gonna be messy.
no,
Yo,
this will be fantastic.
it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Um,
But
so
speaking of that, and I might be jumping ahead here. I definitely am jumping ahead here because it's like literally the last 30 seconds of this episode. Um, we're having another, what's her, Zach and Bliss moment, maybe in the future.
oh, you think, huh?
Oh yeah,
Did we see
definitely.
that? I don't know if I remember seeing that.
They definitely meet up after.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw
Oh,
the
between Uche and Aaliyah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I don't think we're gonna have a Zach and Bliss moment.
You don't?
I don't think she's gonna go. I don't. That's what I think. Maybe that's what I'm more of what I hope. But
No,
I don't think she's gonna
are gonna
go.
stay in the episodes for sure.
Oh, maybe.
Because like, yo, okay, listen, I gasped. I did not see that expect. I did not see that happening.
Oh, I did. I knew that would happen. I
That's
knew they would arrange a meeting. I knew it would.
no. Like for him to be like, all right, proposal time, and
Oh.
then and then homegirl,
Oh, you're
MIA.
talking about when she dipped?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I didn't see that coming. I thought you meant like when they saw each other after, like what we saw coming up in the episodes. Um, yeah, no, I didn't see. I don't think we've ever seen them dip like that before.
Like
Bliss
in
didn't dip.
surprise.
Remember, he broke up with her to be with that other one.
Yes. That makes sense. But I'm saying like the
Yeah.
rekindling, like I think even though like she left, I think like they'll bring that couple back.
Yeah, we do see them coming back. We're not done. This season of Love is Blind, it's not just about the official couples.
No.
We're gonna get Johnny and Chris,
Yeah.
and there's gonna be a triangle between Izzy, Johnny, Stacy. Like there's gonna be a love square between Uche, Leah,
Yeah,
Milton,
Lydia.
and Lydia. Like
Oh,
it's gonna be messy.
poor Milton, man.
I feel bad for him, this poor guy.
Yeah.
He
Like
didn't deserve any of this.
it's such a producer plant. Like, why Milton,
I hate
man?
it.
Oh, this poor guy.
Um, so now Aaliyah is having a date with Uche.
Yes.
And she's struggling with what he didn't tell her, which is the fact that he had sex with Lydia 3 months ago.
Yes. See, this is where I didn't understand the timeline. But anyways, continue.
Yeah. And she doesn't want to feel doubtful. And yeah, he says that, I think I'm confused here. Something about fucking her over or whatever. I don't really remember here, but someone's gonna fuck somebody over. It's probably gonna be my girl. It's gonna be Aaliyah. She says that Lydia told me that you wanted to start from ground zero with Lydia. So now we're getting this lie from Lydia. And I'm like, I'm literally, while watching, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I never recall her saying that to her.
Unhinged.
She wanted to start over.
Yeah.
And he said no.
Yeah.
So now she's lying about him. And of course, Aaliyah doesn't know what to believe.
Yeah. Poor girl.
Yeah.
And then Lydia's also lying to Milton.
Oh, 100%. The only reason Milton knows is because Uche told Aaliyah. If he never told Aaliyah, she never would have told Milton.
And the way she told him too is like as if like, oh, I have to get this over with.
Yeah, this is just, I gotta rip the Band-Aid off.
And then she was like love bombing him after. Cringe.
Oh my God.
But it's the fact that she was so like, she like just subtly said, yeah, and like I broke it off in February, which, whatever. And now we're in like May. But like the fact that she was like, I broke it off.
No, and that's not true.
Poor Milton.
We'll get to that too, but that's not true.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she does tell Uche that she knows that they had sex. He does say that this is harder on him than it is on Aaliyah.
Which is like,
the fuck you say, sir?
And then she clapped back. She's like, what are you, hello, you're not in a cage with her. I am.
Yeah, how is this harder on you?
Yeah.
It's find a way to, take it off of her. Jesus. Yeah, so he says to her, and I don't know if I don't think this is really love bombing, but it's definitely him pleading his case here. Just, yeah. he says that we have the same vision, the same values.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to give up. He is there for her. And she says that she is 100% in it with him. Yeah. So she says this to him in this moment. And he says that, have you thought of a wedding ring that you would like? And that's kind of where they leave off. I guess they're good now.
Yeah, like they're smiling, they're giggling, they're laughing. And like, I enjoy that tough conversation and they're good. And
which threw me for what happens later.
Yes.
Yeah. So then the conversation with Lydia and Milton, they're on a date now. So now she says, the first day, my date number 10, she says that was my ex and that was Uche. So she tells Milton that she says that she wanted to move on. Okay. We've talked about that in length already. She says that he has his girl and, I have you kind of thing. I hope he's good, whatever. Milton is very quiet. He has barely said a word here. He said, I didn't expect this. And she says that there is no threat. She says there is a reason her and Uche did not work out. Ma'am, 2 seconds ago, you just said you don't know what the reason is. So how is there a reason you guys didn't work out if you yourself, as you claim, don't know what the reason is?
Because according to her, she broke it off. So she must know the reason.
So stupid.
Yeah.
He says, I guess I am indifferent. And he said he didn't expect this kind of curveball or another curveball. Understandable. She says that she loves him. And he just doesn't say he just says like he's listening. Like he's not actually saying anything to her.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's a lot.
It is a lot when you find this out. And at the last hour is when I find out that you knew him.
Don't invalidate his feelings here. Like homegirl's like, okay, can we move on now? Like, no. Let him digest.
It's ridiculous.
T. Milton.
He says, I need a minute. I'm going to come back. I need he says I need 5 minutes. So he leaves Lydia. And Lydia also leaves too. And she's crying. What the fuck you crying, girl?
Oh, yeah.
Stacy says, what do you expect him to feel? Thank you, Stacy. Because that's the right response.
Yes.
It's a shock. Let him process this.
Yeah.
And Lydia does not. Okay, so there was a little slight cut off there. Sharon had to leave at that point. So we don't have much more to go through. So we're just going to finish this up. But I am going to still include Sharon's predictions at the end of the episode. And I'm also going to include her thoughts on Aaliyah Dippin at the end as well. So she will have her points in there at the end of the episode. So we'll do that. Make sure you still get her thoughts on that, because she did talk briefly about her thoughts on Aaliyah leaving, but we want to make sure you get just enough of her thoughts. Okay, so let's finish up with the meeting with Milton and Lydia. So yeah, he says that, so we left off with Stacy kind of saying let him process. And Lydia saying that she doesn't want to lose him. And Milton is now heading back to the pods. He's there waiting. She's not there. And you kind of like see him like he's calling out for her, but she's not there. But she is now finally heading back. He says he feels good. She feels scared. She asks him like, "How do you feel?" He says, "I feel good," but she feels scared. And he asks if it was recent that she was with him. She says that they met in 2020. 3 months, she decided to move on. No, the fuck you didn't. And not think about him. No, the fuck you didn't. He says, if I knew day 1 or even 2, he wouldn't have continued talking to her. That's fair. Yeah. He says, I thought I was in a good place, but he still has a lot to figure out. She says she has no doubts about him. She reassures him. So that's kind of where, again, we see a lot of the love bombing kind of bullshit kind of happening on her side. Lying to him. But she says that she wants to be with him. He says he thinks, he says he, or I can't remember exactly, I can't read what I wrote here. But anyway, she tells him if he has any doubts, ask Uche. Too soon. So yeah, I think they actually figured it out. They're going to keep going on, whatever. And she makes that joke of, if you have any doubts, ask Uche. And he's like, nah, too much, too soon. So Izzy and Stacy, they're not going to be having their meeting, their first reveal. And then again, we get silhouettes, and then the doors open, and they see each other, and they hug. He says that she's beautiful. They kiss. He gets down on a knee with the ring. And she does think that, so she actually does like this weird spin thing saying, I'm Stacy. I'm the one you chose, or something like that. It's kind of weird. Anyway, she tells him, no, I can't read what I wrote there either. Okay, that's it. That's pretty much it with the meeting. There's not much else to really say about it. But anyway, so Lydia and Milton, they're having another date. He says he thought about her. He couldn't sleep. He says there's probably things I have to give up, like being at my friend's until 4 a.m. He asks if his age would play a factor. And she says it's nothing but a number. Now it's nothing but a number. Now that Izzy said, nah, girl, I don't want you. Now it's nothing but a number. It was a number before, though. You did think it was a number. And he asks, do you think you could spend the rest of your life with me? And then he gets down on a knee and he says he has fallen in love with her. And he proposes and she says yes. Okay. Now Uche and Aaliyah. He's in the pod. He's saying hello. There's no answer. And yeah, we kind of then see in her pod, she's not there. She's not there. And then we hear a producer saying to him that unfortunately, Aaliyah has decided to not continue with the experience. And that's, as we kind of did talk very briefly before we cut off, that we didn't expect this. We've never seen this before, but more power to her, honestly, for doing what she thought was best. Because this man, I don't know if it's so much about him. I don't think it's about Uche. I think it's because she just doesn't want to deal with Lydia. She doesn't want to deal with any of it. So her best bet is let me dip. And that's what I think happened.
Like I kind of hinted earlier, that ending, I honestly caught me by surprise. I didn't even suspect that she was just gonna dip. I see why she possibly got overwhelmed. She really didn't want to have that conversation with Lydia, and she was like, you know what, this shit's not worth it. I'm just gonna go. If it's meant to be, it'll be outside of the pods, maybe. But man, for it to get so bad, to leave Uche, a man you possibly love. I don't know if they said I love you yet, but man, like it kind of makes you realize possibly how bad it could have been for her. But honestly, it did surprise me. But then I saw that whole sneak peek to the next week episodes, and they're gonna have their little reunion, and I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure they're gonna stay on this show. He's gonna repropose or something like that. It's bound to happen. I see a Bliss and Zach moment, where they do rekindle, and strong as ever.
But that is the end of episode 4. That is it for this week until we hop into the next episodes. But this was a lot of fun. Happy Sharon could join in. We are definitely going to be doing this again next week for the next set of episodes. So yeah, we'll definitely do this again. Hopefully we can get Ava in next week as well. But definitely felt like she was here though, because I definitely gave her thoughts and her opinions on things. So, okay, so we're going to do predictions. I'm going to do mine first, and I'll do Ava's, and then I will include Sharon's at the end. So, my predictions of what we expect to see. So, first, Taylor and JP, will they go the distance? I say yes. I think they will. I like them. I think they're our couple. That couple we stand behind. So I'm really excited to see that happen. Lydia and Milton, will they go the distance? Abso-fucking-lutely not. It's not gonna happen. Izzy and Stacy, will they go the distance? No, they won't. No, they won't. As mentioned, we think Izzy is a walking red flag. I think Johnny's going to complicate things. So no, I don't think they're going to go the distance. And then we have the other couples, which I didn't really ask Ava about. We just kind of talked about the couples, the official couples we have. But from my perspective, I hope that Aaliyah and Uche stay apart. I guess we'll see what happens with that. But I guess the other complication here is then Chris and Johnny, and then potentially Izzy being in the mix of that. I I also think they'll still stay apart, but I think Johnny will do everything in her power to come out with a man at the end of this. I don't think she cares who it is. So, anyway, that's it for that. My predictions. Ava's predictions are just like mine. She also thinks that Taylor and JP will probably get married at the end of this. And she has no confidence in the other two couples. She thinks that they will not get married at the end of this. But
now for my predictions, oh my gosh. I thought that like that Taylor and the firefighter guy, I was like, oh, like it's so typical, like the early couples are always like the strongest. But then she like, I don't know, she like said some comments at the end when she meant, oh, like how it's like awkward and stuff. So I don't think they're gonna last. I don't know. Are any of the couples gonna last? I think in a toxic way, Stacy and Izzy might last. I hope Uche and Aaliyah sort it out, and I could feel that they could last as well. Everyone else, yeah, it's too early to tell me, and I'm not good with the predictions, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's it. That's the end of episode 4. So if you like what you heard, please share Reality Tea ×2 with everyone in your life. That's going to help with our growth. And we really want to grow this podcast. Another way you can grow it is by also rating and reviewing us on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. The links to those podcasts, links to the Spotify and Apple Podcasts, will be in the show notes. Also, you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps, but if there is an app that you don't see us on, that you want to see us on, please let me know and I can get that up on that podcast app. If you are an avid YouTube user, you can listen to this podcast on YouTube by going to Reality Tea ×2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by connecting with us on either Facebook at Reality Tea ×2 or Instagram and Threads at Reality Tea ×2 podcast. You can also email us. We would love to hear from you. Also, if you want to guest on the podcast at some point, whether we talk about your favorite show or just get to know each other, you can email us at realitytea ×2@hotmail.com and you can make that request and we can talk and we can figure that out. So you can email us at that email. We have a new website where you can get links to everything. You can get links to our Facebook page, Instagram page, Threads, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything your heart's desire, as well as we do now have a Discord, so you can follow us and talk to us on the Discord app. You can get all of that information at the website, and the website is www.solo.to/reality ×2. I also have a new podcast with my friend Mikkel called Next Take Podcast, and you can either listen to us at YouTube at the link that's going to be in the show notes. I believe that is Next Take Podcast. And you can also go to our website. There you can have all the links to all of our social medias, email, everything. Our episodes as well will be at the website, which is www.solo.to/Next Take Podcast. All of the information, everything that I have just said, will be in our show notes. Well, that's it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.